So today is 4/28, and there's no patch, and there's no wipe. So just for the haters, you can have this. But my own skin is the closest thing you're going to get to a clown costume this time, because there was no wipe, no patch. 4/28 was a myth. Sorry to those of you in the Sons of Soon, but y'all were wrong. Wrong, baby. Sorry. Newsy news. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, you beautiful YouTube Tarkovians. My name is Onepeg, and this is another Escape from Tarkov video. This time we're talking about all things related to the lore, Lighthouse, and what has been going on up and through till this point, and why are people suddenly hemorrhaging money in Tarkov. See, we're all getting extorted for cash, but let me kind of lead you through how we got to this point. See, there's been this long story arc that has been going on with Rigi, who's known as the Redhead Rigi, and his pen pal known as Moron, or Chepushila. There's also been this side pod conversation that we've been seeing with UN communications between a couple of different people, but that seems like it's more of a side conversation at the moment than anything else. See, originally, Rigi was following Tagilla, was looking for Tagilla in the factory, found out that raiders were trying to find him, and he was forced out of the factory, and Tagilla ended up going to Interchange to spend time with Killa while raiders invaded the factory, and we got to fight raiders for a weekend. Then, from that moment forward, Rigi had written another letter saying that he was going to sell the information on Tagilla's current location at the Interchange Mall to the raiders, and the raiders captured him. He was then able to break his binds. He got out and escaped to Lighthouse. When he got to Lighthouse, we saw this teaser video where this large lighthouse on the lighthouse on Lighthouse, I'm saying lighthouse way too many times, was giving out Morse code in the light of the lighthouse. We then came to find out that once we deciphered that Morse code, it said, Red Scav, hi, friend or foe. Red Scav referring to Rigi is my guess or understanding. That's kind of what we've been led to believe now, I think, that Rigi the Redhead is the Red Scav. Rigi then actually went to the lighthouse to see who was there, to see if he could talk with Lightkeeper, and Lightkeeper was missing. Rigi sent out a letter to Chepushila saying that he couldn't be found. In that letter, Rigi said that he felt as though he was being hunted by someone, and at the same time, noting that Lightkeeper wasn't around, said something to the effect of Lightkeeper dealing only in high-tech equipment, and now that he was missing, that there was this void now. So in-game, we then had all of the traders suddenly doing these really lucrative high-tech barters. While there were available trades, they ended up being 3 or 4 times as expensive as they would have been normally, so it really didn't end up working out monetarily. Then people thought, well, this was going to flood the game with all kinds of thermal optics and everything else, but it really didn't. Then we ended up seeing Lightkeeper come back, and Lightkeeper, through other communications, looked like he was pretty pissed. He found out that other people had been moving in on his business and decided that, well, hell no, we're not going to do that, and decided he was going to start punishing people. Through his vast amount of influence, he has now forced all of the traders in the game away, which moves us into now. Yesterday, early, we were given this image, which is another, looks like communication from Rigi. It has the telltale signs of his penmanship. Also, this is his Mosin, and he always ends up drawing something about Prapor on here. And the translation, which comes from Bakizi, is CH, which is Chepushila. You won't believe it. I got a new job to transfer bags of money. Bags full of money, I swear. Each of them is completely full. I don't know how many of them I transferred through the night. I've never seen this amount of money in my life. It then goes on to read, I would tell you to take Glist, who apparently is a new character that we haven't seen, and let's steal at least one of the bags. But the guys giving orders are scary as F. They look at you once, and you feel it in your gut. You feel that they flay you alive if you lose at least one bill. But it won't be me if I don't steal at least one pack. While I was carrying the bags around Tarkov area, I also saw something interesting. Some guys are carrying money from scav cases, and the funny thing is they're just taking the money from scav cases and are not bringing anything back. I saw some guys who were doing orders for foreigners back in the day, and now they're carrying bags of money too. And also, it seems PMCs are stashing all the luxury stuff in marked circles. Sectants must be involved in all of this, sectants being cultists. One of the PMCs gave me some money on the way, but I couldn't understand if it needs to be carried to the location as well or what. Like, am I supposed to deliver only the money I took from scav case? What do you think? I don't want to ask those scary guys. P.S. It's time to find out who's getting all that money. I'm really curious and nobody is talking. Maybe it's somehow related with all the traders' shops being closed. I heard they lost big money. I'm extremely happy about that. Rigi. So initially, we were all boggling our minds. We had no idea what the hell was going on. What was this guy talking about with scavs taking money and running around all over the place? Well, so the first thing that ended up happening was it looks as though marked circles were seeing a little bit of a buff. There was a lot more cash showing up on marked circles for whatever reason. Moving forward from there, Nikita then teased on his Twitter account this image. The important part is here. Default user, never mind that, look in /cash, seems like LK, Lightkeeper, extorting money from them. From everybody, actually. Knowing him, he can do that. He will get what he wants, and it will de-escalate for sure. So this is an Ars terminal readout, which is something that we've seen. The Ars terminal, ARRS, has always been like the secure terminals that have been getting accessed by like Terra Group and the like. So someone on the outside is monitoring the situation and noticed that Lightkeeper is kind of flexing his muscles. So what did that mean? Well, in-game, if you have a scav case, instead of being able to offer scavs things like intelligence folders or moonshine, you now only have cash options, anywhere between 25,000 rubles and 10 million. So naturally, the czars of Tarkov that ended up having gobs of cash thought to themselves, well, maybe I should throw some money in there and see what comes back for 10 million instead. Except there was a change. Instead of getting anything back, now you just got this message. Now remember that image that I showed you just a second ago that had to do with the /cash thing, right? Well, that's interesting. Well, that equates to a website. And you have to type it in this way or it doesn't work. www.escapefromtarkov.com/cash. And it brings us to this website. This is basically a twofold running gag, if you will. The first is, this is how much money has been lost to the scav case, courtesy of the scavs stealing it. And the second is how much money apparently Lightkeeper is saying is left to be collected until he gives us something. I don't know if that's he's giving us our traders back. I don't know if that means that we're going to get a patch, but so far, the player base has generated 172 billion rubles inside of lost scav cases. And right now, the assumption is that we have to keep feeding him until he gets to 1.5 trillion. That's going to take a little while. Right now, we've generated 171 billion rubles since yesterday. It hasn't even really been about 24 hours yet. It's a little bit too soon for that. But let's say we averaged about 150 billion. That'd be about 10 days. Now that word is starting to get out, I think we could do probably closer to 200 billion a day, which puts us somewhere around May 4th, maybe even May 3rd. Somewhere around Wednesday to Thursday of next week. So it's very possible we could end up seeing something happen next Wednesday or Thursday, May 4th, May 5th. It's not quite the 28th. And it may not necessarily be an expansion patch, but once we hit it, I have a feeling that they're going to start progressing the story even further. We might see something by like the second week of May in terms of an expansion. But all isn't completely lost. There have been some changes in game to help kind of pad this a little bit. If you go and loot safes, they have anywhere up to 100,000 rubles in them now. So there's significantly more money floating around. Also, it seems like marked circles have also been buffed pretty good. So there's that option as well. And the prices from Fence have been drastically improved. He pays significantly more for anything that you sell him now than he used to. And he also is selling items for significantly less than what he used to sell them for. So there is some in-game push to try and get money funneled through the scav cases. So if you are a newer player, try and farm some cash up, give it to some people that have the scav case and see if you can get them to, cha-ching, send some money off. If you're a more experienced player, perhaps consider funneling your money through, because it's very likely that this is one big reset, either just monetarily and, stash value wise, or it will coincide with a wipe. I don't know if they necessarily will push it out in mid-May, but it looks like all of this is leading up to that. If they stretch this out, like let's say this gets paid off, it puts the event back, we get the traders back, everything kind of goes back to normal, they could easily work in some storyline where there's a retaliatory measure that is made by the scav bosses against Lightkeeper, and they start flushing rogues into other maps, or they start flushing raiders onto Lighthouse, and that pushes rogues off of Lighthouse, and then you have rogues running around on woods, or there's all kinds of different stuff that they could do here with the AI and the storyline to keep us relatively engaged through till the end of May, and we would see a patch maybe in June. Either way, I'm here for the story. I feel engaged. I'm really enjoying the lore that's been going on. I like that BSG has been writing this the way that they have. From a pure player standpoint, I can understand being ticked off at them. I just look at it as they've made something engaging. Even if the opinion is good or bad, people are still having opinions about this, and this is causing a discussion. So anyway, that's what I have for this one, guys. Thanks so much for coming and checking this video out. Please come check me out on socials at OnePegMG on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/OnePeg. And obviously, sub the channel if you're not a sub here already. And I will see you in the next one, okay? Peace.